Hey everyone, have you ever looked at the ocean, seas, and beaches and mesmerized on its beauty? And have you ever looked at the ocean and thought, wow, that's a giant bathtub? Well, you are not wrong. But unlike our home's bathtub, this one has some serious problems. In today's video, we are going to uncover the shocking truths about the ocean pollution, its sources, and the industries driving it. Ocean pollution happens when we dump things that does not belong there. Think of it like throwing the toys on the bathtub and forgetting to clean them up. Except instead of toys, we are talking about plastics, fishing nets, and even tiny pieces of plastic that we can't even see. Where does all these bath toys come from? Well, sometimes people carelessly throw trash on the ground and it ends up in the river, eventually the ocean. Farms and factories can also release harmful chemicals into the water. Even fertilizers from our gardens can find its way to the sea. And what happens to these toys? Some washes up on the beaches, some sinks at the bottom of the ocean, and some are sadly eaten by animals, making them very sick. Some get trapped in giant spiraling currents called gyres, creating massive garbage patches like Great Pacific Garbage Patch. Imagine a giant soup of plastic. Why is this a problem? Well, animals can get hurt or even die from eating plastics or getting tangled in nets. The chemicals in the water harm the plants and animals, sometimes the corals in the ocean. And sometimes the pollution makes our seafood unsafe to eat. And think of it. Imagine the ocean is a giant playground for amazing animals like whales, dolphins, and sea turtles. But this playground is getting dirty. Poor whales and dolphins can mistake plastic bags for jellyfish and eat them. They can hurt their tummies and even make it hard for them to eat real food. Sea turtles can get stuck in the plastic rings like those who hold soda cans together. It's like getting your arm stuck in a toy. Birds can also get hurt. They might use plastic pieces to build their nets, which can hurt their babies, and they might even eat plastics, which can make them sick. But it's not about just the big animals. Tiny creatures like clams, oysters also suffer. They filter the water, but if the water is dirty, they can get sick too. Now let's talk about something called chemical pollution. Imagine pouring too much of fertilizers on your plants. Some of that fertilizers can wash into the water and make the ocean grow too much algae. This can even be a bad news. Too much of algae can use up the oxygen in the water, creating dead zones where no fish can live. It's like your room getting too stuffy, you can't breathe. And here's something really crazy and scary. Tiny piece of plastic called microplastic or even nanoplastic are everywhere in the ocean. They are so small, you can't barely see them. These tiny pieces of plastics can be eaten by small animals and then bigger animals eat those small animals. So the plastic keeps moving up the food chain. Eventually it can end up in our food. The plastic is the number one culprit, but the world produces over 40 million metric tons of plastic annually. While less than 0.5% ends up in the ocean, even the fraction is devastating. Most of the plastics takes hundreds of years to break down, forming harmful microplastics and nanoplastics. According to 2024 study, major corporations are responsible for the significant share of plastic pollutions. The industrial giants leads these pollution, like Coca-Cola leads the list, contributing 11% of the global plastic waste, followed by Pepsi & Co. at the 5%, Nestle and Danone 3% each. Together these companies and others like Procter & Gamble, Unilever and Mars fuel the cycle of disposable plastic products. But the plastic isn't the only issue. Industries such as shipping, offshore oil and gas and fishing leaves the massive ecological footprints. The packaging and disposables industries also contribute heavily to the marine debris. Shockingly, Philippines alone contributes over one-third of the world's plastic waste to the ocean. Factors including numerous small islands, proximity to the coast, and rivers carrying the waste to the sea, followed by some of the huge nations of the world. The effect is catastrophic. Plastic pollution harms the marine species, disrupts the food chain, and even threatens the human health through the contaminated seafood. Economically, the impact is staggering, costing billions in cleanup efforts, lost tourism revenue, and damage to the fisheries and real estate. But there is a hope. Better waste management, reducing a single-use plastic, and holding corporations accountable are critical steps. Government, businesses, and individuals must work together to protect our ocean. Let's start with us. Individual action can make a huge difference. Reduce single-use plastics like bags, bottles, and straws. Use reusable options made up of glass, silicons, and metals. Conserve water to limit runoff and pollutants. Choose non-toxic products and dispose of waste responsibly. Lower vehicle emission and carpooling, biking, and use fuel-efficient cars. These are the steps that we can take as an individual. Government and industries are stepping up too. Building sustainable wastewater system and stormwater filtration. Banning problematic substances like polystyrene and imposing fees on single-use plastic, managing oil spills and restricting harmful aquatic practices. Science is revolutionizing the ocean protection. We can use the scientific technologies to reduce pollution and decrease the amount of pollution. Satellite and GPS pinpoint pollution hotspot. Innovations like Great Bubble Barrier, CAT HDR can turn waste into oils. Biodegradable plastic-based plastics and washing machine filter reduces further waste. Robots and floating devices clean the seas and rivers efficiently. These are some of the science revolutionized products that we can use to clean up and reduce the ocean pollution. Business plays a critical role too. Educating employees, customers about reducing the plastic waste, replacing the single-use plastic with sustainable alternatives, joining initiatives like Plastic Pact or partnering with the ocean cleanup, supporting startups like Clean Hub, Tide Ocean, Coral Vita that innovate and restore the marine ecosystem. Incredible innovations are leading the charge. The ocean cleanup removes microplastics from Great Pacific Garbage Patch, plastic roads recycle the plastic into road, Coral Vita restores dying coral reefs, Manta boats parabolic devices remove tons of plastic waste from the oceans and the river. The main impact of plastics is on the corals, which is mainly essential for the underwater lives to sustain and live. They produce oxygen and provides food for most of the creatures and helps them to grow. Fighting against the ocean pollution is far from over, but together we can win. Whether through small daily choices or groundbreaking technologies, every action matters. Protecting our oceans means protecting our future. Keep our oceans clean and healthy for all the amazing creatures that live there. Thank you for watching this video. For such more interesting contents, subscribe to our channel and share this video with your friends and family. Spread awareness and save the world for the future. See you next time.